Hello everybody, welcome back to From Rhythm to Algorithm. You know how we do it. We are looking for our definition of sensorality. Why do we censor things? And what kind of logical implications can we draw? Empirical evidence, you know the deal. So last time we showed the direct iteration of sentiment and sentience. If you haven't seen that short video, go watch it. It's about 20 seconds of derivation, but picking up right where we left off. So sensorality constitutes, right? What's a constitution? Just started my legal section. So if you constitute something, right, a constitution, right? What does that exactly mean? I don't know. That's the point, is we're just connecting our linguistical elements, our letters. And so a constituent, right? What's a constituent? It's a factor. It's a piece of a larger puzzle, right? So if you're a constitution, you're a constituent of a constitution. It's a piece, you're a fraction. So a constituent is a factor. What is charge? Right, we talked about assault versus battery. That's assault, brother. But naturally defined, assault implies physical contact. Battery is a thing that stores charge. And so what is charge fundamentally physically? When energy is stabilized into mass, why is it clearly one of these, properties emergent from the stability of two, positive and negative, but what is it exactly? Right? I guess if you just have more electrons, you have a negative charge than more protons, but why? Then can we make any sort of statement about the electron is significantly smaller than the proton, but they both carry 1 unit of charge? So we have some kind of, can we make a statement about charge and size? Because we have just 1 unit of negative, 1 unit of positive, and clearly there's a big size difference in a proton and an electron. So not really sure, maybe I'm missing something huge there, maybe I'm not missing anything at all, but what is charge? It's a property, it's an empirical property, you can't really say much more about it. Batteries store charge, right, a battery is a capacitor, I believe, but just you have a potential difference. All of the positive charge on one end, all of the negative charge on another side, that creates a potential, that creates a difference. When energy stabilized into mass, charge was one of these fundamental properties that stabilized along with it. Can I say anything more? Well, apparently not right now. All right, and the stage was set. Another one of these, all of these usages of the word set we've now identified. But if the stage was set, what are you doing? Right, staging prepares. So if it's set, it's ready to go, it's prepared. Sensorality is preparation. Is my chair going to prepare for the future? Does it have any hopes, goals, or dreams? Obviously not. Preparation plans. Sensorality is sensorentality. Right, I connected observant to sensorant. Right, if you're a sensorist, you're sensorant. sensorant. Again, just another form of this word, and then I throw ality at the end. Sensorentality. Just connecting, looking for this unique string of letters. What is a measurement to an observation? Right? If I observe something, am I measuring it? Right? The electron went through the double slit, and the observer measured it. Right? So an observation produces measurement. Sensorality is observant. Right? Life notices things. Observe, orient, sentient, orient. You can clearly see that I-E-N-T is the exact same. Sentientality is orientationality. Excuse me, holy cow, I can't read my own handwriting. Orientationality, right? How does sentience orient? Just said this in my legal series, but right, how does sentience orient? You can either have a sexuality or you can have a direction. But orientation, right? If you go to an orientation at school, it's like your introduction. So what's going on there? Sexuality is sensual, right? You fuck your wife, I make love to her. And so we have this different severity level of like what a word means, but you get the point. And sensuality loves. Speciality is hate, sensuality is love. Fuck Lex Friedman. Sensuality is the difference between liking and loving, right? And it's a very clear difference we have right now, right? You can like something on social media or you can love it, right? So clearly love carries more emotional baggage or more fervor, more intensity, more passion, right? So loving is an extreme form of liking. Liking is a less severe form of loving. Science, sentient. Science, sentience. Sensuality is specious. Speciously, seriously. Serious is the opposite of silly. What is synthesis? Right? Synthesis is integration. If you combine two things, you're integrating it. If you combine two things, you're synthesizing them. Right? Synthetic is naturally the opposite of natural. Just kind of said it in a row. But right, if you synthesize something, you synthesize it in a lab. It's synthetic. It is manufactured. But synthesis integrates. And that was one of those big words, like, I don't know what happened again, more fraud and lawsuits out the wazoo, but with my patent. You know, a patent attorney talking to a patent clerk at the office with no reference to me telling me what the diction of my property needs to be represented as. Yeah, that's so many crimes I can't even begin to start. But synthesis integrates. Speciality is syntheticality. Sensuality is authenticality. Speciality is special. Sensuality is common. Commonality, speciality. Sensualities are frequencies. Right? Now we're getting to the real fundamental. Again, between getting to the fundamental, the frequent nature, or the range, the applicability, the domain, which is kind of weird because you kind of use base as domain, but domain's more logically consistent to range. Right? If I'm in my sovereign domain, that's the range of land I have or territory I have control over. So this word domain we kind of forgot, but that's kind of more related to base, and it's not. like natural usage is towards range. So that's another interesting thing. But sensualities are frequencies, right? How you see, how you hear, that's sensuality. Senses, right? How does power relate to flow? Right? If he has a lot of power, you're saying he's influential. Right? If he's a lot of power, but physically, again, I forget off the top of my head, what is it? Joules per surface area? That's flux probably. But power, just how much, and I don't know off the top of my head what's the physical definition of power right now. I don't know why I'm blanking on it, but how does that relate to flow? Right? If something is more powerful, if it has more intensity, how does that relate to flow? Rhythm regulates flow. Rhythm regulates everything to most efficiency. Power is the ability to work or the intensity of work. Flow is how things move. So clearly they're related. If the more rhythmic the flow, the higher generation of power. So we'll call them proportional. Dichotomy is versus, right? Dichotomy versus. This versus that, or separates. So now over in our legal law discussion, right, we have very clear when we proved or separates, and is a conjunction. And that's where you get conjunctive and injunctive in law, and that's not correct. But dichotomy versus. Speciality diversifies, right? Proliferation diversifies. Differentiation diversifies. Volatility is change. Volatile implies extreme change, right? If somebody says you're very volatile, right? Volatility in generality just means it changes, right? If it's very low volatility, it changes really slow. But if somebody says you're volatile, they're meaning you're being extreme. You have an extreme emotional output. You're bipolar. You swing from really happy to really sad, from this to that. So volatility in general is just change, and if you call somebody volatile, it's almost exclusively used for extreme change. So that is what I have for logical derivation for you today. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one.